What's up, guys? All right, today we're going to talk about speed and accuracy with our right hand. I do have a left-handed video. I will put that link below just so you guys can put them both together. Now this video is going to be a little bit strange for a lot of people. We need to talk about getting rid of the bigger muscle groups and the bigger range of motion. We cut those down so that we can get as much speed as possible. So the exercises are going to be training these really tiny muscle groups and then growing from there. If, like all of my students, they try to go the other way, if you're just kind of, used to strumming along and using your gigantic muscle groups with your right hand to try to narrow those down, what you're going to get is, right? So you just, and there's so much tension, there's no way to keep up with it, all right? So, because a large muscle group cannot handle the tiny range of motion that we're going for, we need to get these muscles out of the way. So now that I have the camera at this angle, let's just talk about getting this part of our arm out of the equation completely. What we want to do is we want to set an anchor. So I usually have my students take like that line right there, and I have them put it on the top string, and that's just going to get rid of all of this. Our elbow and all of those muscles cannot get that tiny range of motion, but our wrist can, and we're even going to talk about getting rid of our wrist as well. We're not using so much wrist motion. All right, so now I just want you guys to set that anchor, let this completely relax, and just nice and light, go up and down, just for now. Barely using the pick. You guys we want to start really light with this, and I promise you guys these exercises will work no matter how weird you think they are. All right, just nice and light. The best part too is, especially for some of you shredders that have a lot of overdrive going on, this is going to help control the muting. So it's really great. You kind of like learn how to roll your wrist and mute the strings that you're not playing, which is going to be super important. Otherwise, it's just like kind of a chaotic sound. All right, so that is part one, just kind of getting rid of this and getting rid of that, which is what everybody does when they're starting to play. It's nice, right? Nice and light. There's not a lot of musculature. All right, let's get a little bit closer. All right, guys, so now once you have your anchor, another really great thing is it kind of angles your fingers down. You don't want to be playing flat on the string, so your pick, if that's flat, your pick is just going to kind of angle up a little bit. And like we said, just go really light and let that pick roll right over. Now what I want you to try for some of you beginners is putting your finger on the 12th fret. What that does is it cuts down on the floppiness, basically that motion of the string, and it just makes it a little bit more, because it's a little bit more stabilized. And just go super light, just to feel it out. The best part about this too, that anchor as well, is it kind of lets you feel the strings and feel where they are. You're going to get really used to that. So from there, this is like the weirdest exercise I have my students do, but this targets the smallest muscle that we need to train. We're not used to training just yet. So I want you to take that pick and you're just gonna roll it over the string, just like that. Just like, and now it'll start like this, you'll be going in, you'll lift it up, it'll make a sound. I want you to get it to where you can roll it up and over and you have the control for it never to release and make an actual sound. All right, sounds super weird, but once you start doing it, you're gonna feel that muscle getting worked a little bit. That is the smallest muscle that we need to get ready. Now from there, you're gonna go to just barely using the very tip of the pick. You see how it almost just makes like a constant sound. Right, just getting used to barely putting the pick in, because we only need to use the tip of the pick. Now you're going to be able to get volume with that, because the velocity that we're using when we're playing fast is going to boost the volume of it. So you won't need to dig in. That's why we're using just the very tip of the pick, okay? So once you start getting used to that, go as slow as you need to go. It might start like this, whatever it is, super light. And you're gonna go fast, and I usually have my students do it when they're practicing, like in front of their phone, kind of the camera on them, so they can see if their arm's tensing up. You wanna go before your arm tenses up, whatever speed that is. Nice and light, just the pick, just the tip of the pick. All right, and then once that starts getting comfortable, you start doing what I call bursts. So what bursts are is like a group of 3, 4, or 5 notes, whatever it is, and you're gonna do them until you tense up, okay? So it kind of goes like this. All right, and what you're gonna try to do is find where the relaxation is before that tense up. Okay, so once you find that, if it's like 2 or 3 notes, 4 or 5 notes, whatever it is, and then you just sit there and see if you could find it without using any of that muscle, and you'll see that kind of tensing up. If you're doing, ooh, almost fell. You'll see it start tensing up here if you have like a camera on you. It's the best way to do that exercise. All right, so that's really focusing in on the muscle groups that are not trained just yet, all right? So some other ideas are not using a super floppy pick. I use these all the time. Now the other thing, a lot of players use those really small red picks and really thick ones. That's totally up to you. I don't recommend using a super light one just because the pick kind of flopping around is just going to add a little extra motion that we want to try to get rid of. All right, so that is the basis of getting that speed. We really want to just stick to one string. We want to train those muscles to get all the way down. Now, eventually when we start adding volume and dynamic to it, you'll start getting something like this, like and you can see there's not a whole lot of added motion to get volume. Right? And that's just going to come naturally. So eventually getting that fast pick, comfortable, see if you can add volume. Volume usually comes with just a little bit firmer of a grip right there. So the pick just gets a little bit tighter. Now when you start adding volume, you're going to use even less of the pick. All right, and that's all stuff that you guys are going to feel out eventually. But that is going to be your start for speed picking. And then another great exercise too, just because this is a little bit more focused on those small muscle groups, is once you've found your anchor, kind of going through like jumping strings, right? That exercise is back and forth, and then anchoring yourself and going really light. Right, just to make sure that you're getting like the coordination between your two hands. All right, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I know this video is a little bit different, and the main reason that it's different is I would rather you guys not take the big muscle groups you're used to using and trying to figure out how to play fast, and that's what everybody does. You know, all of my students come in, there's a lot of, right, and we want to get rid of that completely. So I hope that helped. Let me know if you need any help with what I just talked about or any other questions. Let me know. Thank you guys.